Hello, everyone. Today, I'm very, very excited to be speaking to somebody who has been through a lot of cricket waters and now into fantasy. Let me try to say something that he has done. Still, I'll not be able to do the full justification the way he would do it for himself. So, he started with organizations where he was managing the social media account of the popular cricketers. He once had the he even managed the social media account of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He even had those passwords with him. Then he went into text commentary. 2016, he got a verified profile on Twitter. Then he got into news publications about around cricket. 1,000 to 10,000 articles he's written, he's published,
Yeah.
he's done live tweeting, a lot of things
Yes.
around there. And then right now he is spending a lot of time focusing on fantasy.
Yeah.
And from somebody who has been through so much into cricket into fantasy now, I am sure this interview is going to be totally interesting, not just for me, but for everybody who's watching this. So stay tuned
Yeah.
till the end of this video. So welcome, 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 Nikhil, Popat. I am so excited to talk to you. Please tell us about yourself, how you got into from commentary, from cricket commentary to managing the accounts of cricketers and into now playing fantasy. So tell us something about your journey so far.
Thank you so much for very kind words at the start. I'll just say I always thought fantasy was something that was inbuilt in me,
Mhm.
right from the school days where there was not enough internet and we just had Symbian phones. So
Mhm.
in my books at the last page, I would write down scores of matches,
Okay.
and then my estimate of what will the score be after each over. So that is how I have books kept safe with me to show someday that see these many books I've wasted for my family, that they think what are you doing, this idiocracy, where you come home, I check the scores and give myself marks and then also sign
Uh-huh.
saying 9 of 9 very good and all of that. So I think predictions fantasy always had me glued, but again we did not know how to get into it. I got a chance to work with people handling social media accounts for players, so I latched onto it as an intern, and then things just went from there. I got into commentary, did a few stints of text commentary, which I think is the base for whatever I know about cricket, because during the commentary there is nothing but you and the game. There is
Yeah.
no distraction, no phone, no breaks, and it is just how in detail you watch it. And that's where I felt that okay, this is what is going to give me edge in future, because now I know patterns about players, having seen them myself.
Mhm.
So that is what I think. Everything was always interlinked, and obviously when you cover so many matches, when you go through so many organizations, you learn a lot, not just about your own self, but how you need to manage things better. In terms of, there
And
is
most
every learning.
importantly, you
Yeah.
have hung around with cricket in various formats. You're not
Yes.
just somebody who's just only played or who's just only watched or who's just only done fantasy, but you have tasted different waters of cricket, and that makes you very exciting to talk to and to listen to for people.
Yeah, I think it is something that I always wanted to do, purely because as a child I was a stammering one. I couldn't say two words in a row without like this. So to
Wow.
go from there to this, I think in to myself, it's always, it's in any ways a big achievement that I've crossed that hurdle myself, from having stage fright, being feared of being laughed at and been bullied in schools and all of that. So I always wanted to do something that would make me stand apart,
Mhm.
and luckily I found that love in cricket, and which is why I cling on to it, because that's all that I know. So whatever I can do in that field, I feel, because the game has given me so much, it's
Yeah.
given me this voice, so I want to give that back to the game and let others know that how great and wonderful the game can be.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful sentiment to have. In fact,
Yeah.
cricket is not just a game for India, it's an emotion. It
Yeah.
binds us together and it brings
Yes.
us together as a country.
Yeah.
So, so wonderful, wonderful. So, Nikhil, tell us now about your fantasy journey. Since when did you start to play? How has been your winning pattern? किस platform में आप खेलते हैं?
So I started in 2015.
Okay.
Yes, we all played Super Selector when it came out, but without
Mm.
understanding it much, because I wasn't that great in terms of understanding the nuances that are there in the games. But regularly since 2015, I've been playing. So for first 3 years, it took me a lot of time to understand how
Uh,
to go about it and what to do and what not. It's only in the last 3 years that I can say that I've been in marginal profits, where you have 6 months where you get a lot of money, and
okay.
6 months where you have no clue in terms of what is happening. But
Okay.
in the last year and a half, I've found a better balance in terms of spotting the game in terms of, okay, this is where I'm going wrong, this is where I'm going right. So now I have an Excel sheet of the last 3 years of my fantasy games, in terms of which game have I played, how much have I invested, what are the leagues that I have invested. All of that is recorded, so that whenever I go wrong, I look back to it and understand that, okay, what was it that I was doing right when I was winning? So
Okay.
is there a change in pattern? Where am I going wrong? So all of that proper nerd stuff, but not
Yeah.
as much as people would think it is. But I'm sure there are a lot more people who go further deeper into all of this. But so yeah, that's been my fantasy now almost 8 years. So yeah, it feels great.
So those of you who don't know Nikhil very, very well, he comes from an engineering background. So Nikhil, which engineering you did and from where did you study?
I did IT engineering by force and not by choice.
That's
If,
how it is with most of us.
yes, yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
is. So IT engineering first class pass out, if at all. So whenever my dad gets a one brief moment in 6 months, he says, "You sure you don't want to do coding and all?" I said, "Dad, I don't get it at all." So I did that from Chembur in Bombay,
Uh-huh.
Shayan Anchor Kutch Engineering College.
Okay.
The bright student, I wanted to pursue cricket in after 10th only, but my dad was like, "You can't score 88.4% and tell that you want to play cricket." But again, things have changed now that I have my daughter. I can understand why he would say so.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a regret. I don't regret his call, because it's got me to this place. So I'm happy in that regard.
Even I'm a software engineer, and so far all
Yeah.
my in all my career I have been into marketing and sales. So
Nice.
even I have not done any kind of coding, and even it
Yes.
was for by force, because that early in career, very less
Yeah.
people have clarity on what they want to do.
Yes.
But then
Even if
you
they have clarity, they don't have the freedom or the
conviction, yeah.
luxury to take up
Sometimes
that thing. So
sometimes conviction is missing, and sometimes
yeah.
the freedom is missing. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, in our cases, both were missing.
Yeah. But thankfully, we are doing what we like now. So I think that is
Yeah.
what matters.
But what I truly like about your story is that whatever ways and forms it took for you, but you were there hanging tight with cricket. And
Yeah.
you understood something really well. You went into deep terrains of finding out a game, what it is, and then
Mm.
exploring it from different angles. So that makes you
Yeah.
special. So wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. As the people can see, I'm wearing a sweater and Nikhil is not. So that tells us that he's from Mumbai and I'm from anywhere where it is cold. Right.
But I'll be wearing the same thing in Switzerland as well. I'm some one of those rare species who doesn't get cold. So hopefully I'm
What?
not putting the mockers on myself.
No, 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 no. Tell me what's special with you? The people would love to know that. Ki there is a someone
No,
who does not need to wear sweaters.
no, it's a funny story. So we were on a vacation in Europe, where in Switzerland at the highest point, my dad was like, "You are not wearing anything. You
Hmm.
have your top button unbuttoned as well. Are
Hmm.
you insane, or have you gone completely mad?" So I told him I'm not feeling cold, and I did a slide on the ice, and then told him, "See, I'm not doing anything." It's
Wow.
just I don't know. Maybe it's just a God gift, and I'll take it.
Wow, that is something special. Okay, we'll get back to it later.
Yeah.
So you told us that have you been majorly playing on Dream 11 or other platforms as well? Tell us something.
I've tried almost every platform that is there,
Okay.
but not as extensively as Dream 11. Again, Dream 11 gets that advantage because it was the first one,
Hmm.
and you are too used to that platform and the point system and the combinations that you don't want to go anywhere else in a big manner. So I've tried out almost all platforms that are there, because
Hmm.
now there are plenty of them and everyone has their own combinations in
Yeah.
terms of you can pick different kinds of players. So yeah, I've tried almost all platforms now.
So Nikhil, what kind of preparation that you go through? I mean, how do you inform yourself and prepare yourself before creating your own lineups and teams? What tools do you use?
So the first and the biggest tool that I use is my own knowledge of that particular series. So what
Uh-huh.
I do is I pick series in advance in terms of, okay, now I know India South Africa is going to come,
Hmm.
but the first test is likely to be rained off, most of
Yeah.
it. So then I reduce my investment and I reduce my research on it, because I know it may not be that fruitful for me to do it. So the first thing for me is to pick a series
Mm-hmm.
and then play games where I know the players inside out,
Okay.
because that is when I can start taking that risk of okay, maybe I feel this is what will happen with this player, because I know from my past experience of watching him and also from the data that I have on him, that
Okay.
okay, this is his pattern. He prefers to do well in the second innings, and even in second innings, this is the one bowler that he has to be careful of. So
Mm-hmm.
all of those nitty gritties, starting from the up top of series. From
Mm-hmm.
series you go to players, and then you could from players you go to patterns of each player, in
Uh-huh.
terms of okay, if they have a preference,
Mm.
and then you just know take them into the combination that is there on one particular platform.
Uh-huh.
And now that we have so many of them, if my first full innings planning goes wrong, I
Mm.
try to make it up with my second innings planning, where now that I know the pitch and the conditions, I make the exact opposite teams, that at least from one particular platform I'm getting my investment back.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So what I was more interested in knowing are are there some specific websites that you go to in order to get your research done, or you hear some people? Of course, there is a backdrop of your own knowledge, but what
Yeah.
are the avenues that you're going to get yourself more
So
in such?
obviously the cricket covering sites are one,
Uh,
but Perfect Lineup is a platform that I've used often in the last few years.
okay.
So it is an algorithm based lineup where you get a lineup purely from a machine, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of obviously it is data led. So
Mm-hmm.
that is a handy second opinion to always have for you, because sometimes again we are human, and the machine, the thinking is always going to be very different. So
Yeah.
sometimes you will get a very completely different team from a machine, where then you have to put your own intelligence into it and figure out that whether the team is as good as it is being shown, or you want
Mm-hmm.
to make a few tweaks. So
Okay.
from the last few years I've been following that one platform very religiously, if you want to say.
Mm.
I've taken a couple of breaks, which I often do whenever things don't go my way. I take a break of a week or two, where I feel that okay, I'm making the same mistake again and again in terms of my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's when the machine bit helps, because the machine is doesn't have the emotion of having won or lost. It is only going
Yes.
to tell you what has happened.
Yes, yes.
So
So you were talking about your perfect lineup experience, and that's when we
yeah,
lost you. So Nikhil, tell
yeah.
us which one is your favorite feature or something that you like most about perfect lineup?
Obviously, the generate team definitely helps. There
Okay.
are a lot of things where you can check out stats of players and data as uh, per your own convenience. But because I already have that data, I
Mm-hmm.
feel I want to look at the entire team setup once, and then I go into those nitty-gritties, where now they also have a very good feature about the small league team and a grand league team.
Uh-huh.
So that to me is a winner, because the mindset has to be very different
Mm.
for both those kind of leagues. So that's the one feature that I like the most, where it's a very completely different mindset. So you can pick how many teams you want for a small league reference, and the same you can do for grand league. So I think that is probably one of the best features that has come on after the subscription model that has come in.
Yeah, yeah, we are constantly improving the app because we
Yeah,
continue to speak to our users from all walks of life,
yeah,
from all parts of India. So that gives us a very holistic view of what is that we are doing and how are people
yeah,
actually using the app. So wonderful.
yeah.
How many lineups you create for a match? Like what has been your trend so far?
So to me is on the visualization of the game. So
Mm-hmm.
if I feel very strongly about the game, then I don't make more than three or four combinations.
Okay.
But if it's a T20 or a T10 game,
Mm.
then I go up to 11, 15, or even 20.
Okay.
Purely in terms of what are the possible scenarios that I can imagine in my mind. So
Mm-hmm.
what I do is my first few teams are small league teams. So I
Okay.
make them at a separate time, and then very randomly, just a day before the game, I start making teams at random intervals without thinking that I want to make a team, because that's
Okay.
when your instinct is going to come in, that okay, you know the 12 or the 15 players who you definitely want, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're starting to take those risks, and the time interval is different, because if
Okay.
you make teams at the same time, the one type of thinking is going to overlap on the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and have the a gap of at least half an hour or 1 hour, and
Okay.
then I make those teams, so that every team is made with a particular scenario in mind at a very different time.
Okay.
So the only challenge then is to not change it too much post toss, because
Okay.
that's when most of the damage is done. Because post toss, if a key player doesn't play and then you make those five changes, and then your team goes down the drain. So that again is a different aspect of fantasy.
Okay. Nikhil, it will be very worthwhile to hear your ideas and opinion on what would you like to add to Perfect Lineup, or what is that we can improve on the app. So consider that the whole technical team is watching this interview, and especially
Yeah,
yours. So
yeah.
would love to hear your
I
take.
feel the the team generation in itself is any which way is very good.
Okay.
Much better as compared to what it was prior to the subscription and all of that.
Uh-huh.
The one thing that I feel sometimes even the small league predictions are very wild. I
Okay.
mean, in terms of the data and whatever it is capturing, I'm sure there is some algorithm which is feeding that information.
Mm-hmm.
But say on a margin of 10, you would want the small league team to be at least 6 to 7 times good. It is
Okay.
not possible to be best 10 on 10. Nobody's going to be able to do that. But I think for now, the margin is probably 4 to 5.
Okay.
So it's just a minor bit of adjustment in terms of the risks that are taken. They are a
Mm-hmm.
proper. Sometimes you feel that the small league team that the machine is giving you can actually win you grandly, but again, that is the
Okay.
risk that are going to take. That if you play with that team in small leagues, you are likely to lose because a lot of people usually play it in a very safer way.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that can possibly
Yeah.
change,
Yeah.
and the other could be combinations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think for now the set combination is of 1-3-3.
Mm-hmm.
That is, you need that is 3 batsmen and 3 bowlers are a must from
Okay.
what the combination is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that can be tweaked to a customized version if possible, or just a platform version. That okay, if you want a team, because credits are also different on
Okay.
different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there can be a simple banner or a drop down where you select the platform and then
Mm-hmm.
you have a team generated as per the platform, because sometimes even the players are segregated differently in different
Yeah.
platforms.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that I think could be a very handy feature because of the rising competition that is there on Dream 11. So for now, it is ideal for Dream 11. You
Okay.
just have to take the team and put it in Dream 11. But if
Mm.
you're playing on other platforms, then you obviously have to make a few changes. So I think those two could be match winners if that's done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wonderful. I have noted down all the points, and I'm sure we will get back to our drawing boards, and we'll think that what
Yeah,
best we can do, because we keep hearing a very mixed advice, a very mixed suggestion on the team auto team generation point of view. A
yeah,
lot of people want um, a possibility of having risky players, very different
yeah,
players. A lot of people want to
yeah,
go very conservative. So it's a kind of
yeah.
balance that as an app or as an algorithm needs to get
Yes.
right on terms of what people are exactly seeking. Okay,
Yeah, it could
so
also be a potential option where
yes,
you can ask that option that okay, whether
yes,
you
yes,
want a slightly risky team. So
yeah.
in whatever sense, like four
I know,
member,
I
five
know.
member, 11 member.
I
Yeah.
know that is something that needs a very good fine
Yeah.
tuning, because we still
Yes.
want to make app very easy to use for people, because
Yes.
majority of people are not as educated as you about
Yes.
cricket. They have not lived cricket as
Fair.
much
Fair.
as you have done. So
Fair.
but wonderful to hear your ideas. Now tell me, um, if if you won 1 crore in Grand League, what are you going to
Yeah.
do with it?
It's a thought that I live with every day.
Everybody does.
So, uh, firstly, the sad bit is 30% of it will go off.
Haha.
So that bit is done.
Huh.
Apart from that, uh, I have a list that is 10% I'll donate. I have a few NGOs who I combinedly work with every
Okay.
month. So
Okay.
I'll give them some part of it. I want to help my dad out with our new home. So
Home is
30% of
one
it.
consistent thing that every fantasy player talks about. Every, I
Yes,
mean,
because you want your
without a
dream
fail.
home.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
without a fail. Every fantasy player talks about that. I want to do my home. Okay. So wonderful.
Yes, because we have
So,
already bought it now. So I just want to ease the pressure of my dad that he's finally found a dream house for himself.
uh,
So the least that I can do for him is help him get there earlier and reduce his workload.
yeah.
So that is two. And if whatever is left out of it, someday I'll have my own cricket covering company. And so all this can be a collectible in terms of funds that I can gather to
Okay.
have a platform where you will get everything. You will
Okay.
get
Okay.
commentary, you will get streaming, So it's like fan code, Hotstar, Dream 11 combined, if you want to go down
Wow,
that route.
that just sounds so amazing.
Yeah.
So wonderful. So now, as we are inching towards the end of interview, Nikhil,
Yeah.
please tell us what is your number one advice to people who are beginning to play fantasy cricket? Maybe you can do number one or number two as well.
Yeah. I think the first and the most important thing is obviously to not play without a backup.
Okay.
I have myself faced that often, where you need to be very sure of the funds that are going to be investing, and they are not critical in terms of they are not something that you desperately need for your family or personal needs. So once that is aside, I think the only major roadblock then is to have control on your mind in terms of when you're not winning,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're winning it's not a problem, everything
Yeah.
is under your eyes, under your legs, you just want to continue the way. But when things don't go your way, I think that is something that has helped me,
Mm-hmm.
that we need to realize very quickly that where did we go wrong, did we
Yeah.
make a mistake in making a team, or did the player perform like he hasn't done before? So why have we losing, or did we invest in the wrong platform, or are we playing on the wrong platform altogether, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
did you join the wrong contest or did you join the wrong platform altogether? So if you can find the reason of why you are losing, then obviously anybody, it's a human nature that you will want to correct that, and then that should help you minimize those bad days and get more average days. And obviously hopefully everybody wants that best day happening weekly if possible, but at least monthly.
Yeah. So Nikhil, it was totally amazing talking to you. You came up like an expert who really took fantasy even seriously. You do your Excel
Yeah.
sheets, and I kind of see the Moneyball scene there.
Yeah.
With all Excel sheets on, somebody's playing
Yes.
diligently, and you had a very mature opinion of cricket. And I'm sure people who watch this interview would have a very refined sense of what fantasy is and how to go
Yep.
about it. So, jate jate, Nikhil, anything that you would like to talk about, some funny incidents or some memory of any from anywhere from your career that would make people laugh, ponder, or evoke some emotion,
Yes, I'll
anything?
I'll I'll share my first big win story that I had in fantasy.
That will be
But again,
wonderful.
the the point of actually having this conversation was I was wanting to suggest that maybe we could have a partnership of sorts sometime down somewhere down the line with
Yeah,
Perfect Lineup, because I don't think a lot of people know about Perfect Lineup, which
absolutely.
in a way will give out one of my secrets. But again, I don't mind that,
Mhm.
because I think if the community grows, if more people win, if more
Yeah,
people find something out of whatever we can do, so we'll just get back to the game. So I'm sure we can discuss that
yeah, yeah.
sometime later.
Definitely,
uh,
definitely.
yes, the story is it was a Bangladesh Premier League game,
Uh-huh.
and if those who are living in Bombay will know, Dadar is not a place to sit and ponder about your life. But I was doing that at 6:30, because the game was due to start in half an hour, and then at that point of time you did not. Then it was a 1 hour lock.
Okay.
So it was probably an hour later, and I was just trying to figure out. Then you did not have the luxury of knowing the playing 11.
Mhm.
So I was just scrambling through my bookmarks on my mobile to find out if there was some edge that I can get. And I had one friend of mine who was covering the game. So he told me that a guy is likely to play. So
Uh-huh.
I picked that guy. That guy is Evan Lewis from West Indies, and that guy scored a century. And it was the first time I won 20,000. That was the first ever big money. And I know when I knew it was, I was in the train constantly refreshing, refresh, oh by refresh, oh by refresh, oh. Because I was because he was batting first, and I was very sure that he'll do well. And again, that is the kind of edge that you want, that because nobody else knew that he was going to play, but
Yeah.
he came in, he played, and he scored a century. And I was only 2.5 points away from winning 2 lakhs. But I was like, it's okay, at least I got 20.
Mm.
And that's not at all a bad start. And this is like 4 years ago,
Wow.
even more than that. If I'm not I don't remember all those things in that detail, because then I'll do what I did then, which I don't want to do now. So but it was a crazy experience, because then it was a different feel. You did not know who was going to play and who not. So after the teams were locked, you will first check, okay, how many of playing 11 do you have actually? तो कितने लोग खेल रहे नहीं खेल रहे उसी में आधी गेम डिसाइड हो जाती थी. So that to me was a very one of the most memorable days. Train journeys, if not days, memorable train journeys from Dadar to Bhandup, where I was constantly checking, okay, yes, he scored a century. I should get something big today.
Wonderful. So that was the day when you won 20,000 rupees on fantasy.
Yes.
Too good, too good, too
Yes.
good. I had amazing time talking to you, Nikhil, and I
Thank
look
you so
forward to
much.
many more conversations, and I definitely look forward
Yes.
to partnering with you, because the
Yeah.
more than our presence on social media, our app actually is doing really good. We have lakhs and lakhs of
Yes.
subscribed users, so it
Yes.
has already started to make difference, and every day we
Yes.
are trying to get in touch with people from all walks of life of India, from all the corners, and we are very soon including other sports in the app as well
Oh,
for free.
great.
So that will
Great.
not just be cricket anymore. We will have more games,
Awesome.
and we will have much more languages, more formats to cover, and more refinement
Nice.
into algorithm. In fact, a
Yeah.
new version of app is going to be out very soon, which I am sure is going to wow our users, because we have
Oh,
listened to people and implemented those things.
nice.
So thank you
Very
so
good.
much. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
taking time to talk to us, Nikhil, today. And have a
Pleasure.
super day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good day too. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.